In a secluded village, surrounded by thick forest, stands a house with a history as old as the town itself, the Ember House. For centuries, it has been abandoned, whispered about in hushed tones. The townspeople say it's cursed, a place where the flames never die, and the night holds a deep, burning secret. No one dares approach it after dusk. A young journalist named Kenza, eager to prove herself, arrives in the village on a cold autumn evening. She has been hearing rumors of the Ember House since she was a child. The town's elders, while reluctant, offer only vague warnings, cautioning her to leave the house untouched. But Kinza is determined. She sees a chance for a story that will catapult her career. Her investigation begins with strange accounts from the villagers. Some claim to have seen flames flickering from the windows despite the house being uninhabited for decades. Others talk about airy shadows and voices, sounds like whispers, like the crackling of fire, but always just beyond hearing. One elderly woman tells Kinza that the house burns with rage, and anyone who enters will never come back the same or at all. Ignoring the warnings, Kinza ventures into the Ember House. It's night, the moon hidden behind clouds, casting an unsettling shadow over the place. The house is larger than it seems from the outside. Creaking floorboards, broken windows, a smell of smoke that lingers in the stale air. There is something else, a constant feeling of being watched, an odd, tingling sensation that Kinza can't shake. Her flashlight flickers as she steps deeper inside, the beam illuminating fragments of what once might have been a family home. Burnt photos, charred furniture, a fireplace that has not seen a flame in years. But there is an unsettling detail. Beneath the charred remnants, Kinza notices something strange. Fresh embers, glowing faintly smoldering from beneath the floorboards. As Kinza inspects the strange embers, she hears it. Distant, faint, like the crackling of fire, followed by a scream. Not a human scream, something otherworldly. Suddenly, the floor beneath her feet gives way and she falls into an underground chamber. The walls are scorched black and the heat is suffocating. Kinza scrambles to her feet, flashlight spinning wildly, landing on a wall covered in strange symbols, etched into the stone with what seems to be burned ink. Her pulse quickens as she realizes the symbols resemble a strange language she has never seen before, but they all seem to circle around a central figure, a figure holding a burning heart. In the center of the room, a fire burns. A fire with no fuel, no logs, yet it roars as if it's alive. Kinza approaches, hypnotized by the dancing flames. Then a voice echoes in the air, a whispering, tormented voice calling her name. Her heart races, and she spins around, but there is no one there. As Kinza backs away from the fire, the ground shakes, and the walls seem to close in around her. She stumbles and knocks over a charred box, revealing an old journal. Flipping through it, she finds pages covered in cryptic writings, mad rumblings of someone who lived in the house long ago. The entries become more frantic, describing a fire that never consumed the house, a fire that kept burning, fed by something dark and eternal beneath the earth. One final entry reads, "I set the fire, but it consumed me. It consumed us all. The flames are not of this world. The house will never stop burning, and neither will we. I'm the fire now." Suddenly, Kinza realizes something horrifying. The fire never died because it was not a fire at all. It was a curse. The house, the people, even the land, everything was consumed by a fire that fed on souls. The flames didn't kill them, they transformed them, turning them into something else, something alive and restless within the flames. The flames flicker violently, and Kinza feels her breath becoming heavy. The whispers grow louder, the temperature rising, as if the house is alive with anger. The flames dance around her, closing in. Kinza runs, but the heat intensifies. As she rounds a corner, she is met with a figure, An old man, his skin blackened, his eyes glowing with fiery rage. "You shouldn't have come," he says, his voice a guttural rasp. The fire takes, but it never gives back. Kinza, heart pounding, feels the flames threatening to consume her. She realizes in a flash that the fire feeds her curiosity, and those who enter seeking answers become part of its internal hunger. As she struggles to escape, the ground opens beneath her feet, and the flames swallow her whole. The next morning, the villagers find Kinza's abandoned camera, its lens scorched. The footage reveals her descent into the house, her frantic search for answers, and a final scream as the fire claims her. But there's one thing the footage doesn't explain. In the final frame, just before it cuts to static, Kinza's face appears, but it's not hers. It's the face of a woman long dead, her eyes wide with terror, her skin blackened and burnt. Kinza's voice, now mere whisper, echoes from the static. It never ends, it never stops burning. The Ember House stands silent once more, its flames flickering in the distance, waiting for the next curious soul.